Hello, welcome to episode 424. We're in version 1.21 still, and we're playing Hat Tag. You notice I've got some points. That is because I have the hat on. Now, in the commands in the description, I'll make the hat have a nice colour and stuff like that. But for just the testing version, we didn't bother. Right, so what's going on? If I'm wearing the hat, I'm going to get points. If I take any damage, I'm going to drop the hat. I'm going to be put into spectator. And if the hat is anywhere in my inventory, I will automatically put it back on. Now you notice that time it didn't work. That is a little creative menu thing. If you'll see, if I go into survival, there we go. I can't take it off. Doesn't matter where I put it, I'm automatically going to wear it. So let's do a little test. F5, I'm going to get damaged. Bonk, I've dropped my hat. Someone else can come and pick it up. And then after a short amount of time, boink, I'm back again. And I can start playing. I've only set that to 5 seconds. You probably want to set it to something like 30 seconds. Give the person with the hat now time to run away. Okay, let's get back into creative. Let's look at my face. There's my face. Let's go and pick up that hat. That is what we are going to be making. A bit of hat tag. Whoever's got the hat is going to get points. It's a bit of a long one, so let's get on and make it now. Okay, I definitely need some scoreboard objectives. I need 4. I need 1 for points. We'll do that one first. I'm going to need a timer. I think you can guess what I'm going to call those two. Let's start with those two. Scoreboard, objectives, add, points, dummy. Done. Let's control middle mouse, copy that. And pop it down. Chain always active. This one is going to be the timer. I want a score to save if they're in spectator. So spectate, and I want to score so I know when they take damage. Damage taken of type custom damage taken. Done. Let's activate that. Okay, now let's give them the hat. In the description command, I will give them a hat that will give them a jump boost, it will be invulnerable, it will have a name, it will have lore, it'll have all sorts of stuff. But for purposes of speeding up the tutorial, I am just going to put the only bit of information we need, which is going to be the custom data. So I'm going to give them a leather helmet, it's going to have some... Oh, that didn't work. Custom data equals, and I'm going to call it tag hat. Okay, right, that will do. In fact, let's put an attribute on there as well. Let's at least put the attribute on there. Attribute, modifiers equals, open and close. Let's have a list of modifiers. And we could have 1 modifier. If you wanted more, put another one in these brackets. I'm just having 1. My modifiers is not happy because it needs a lot of information. So let's give it an ID, which we'll call jump strength. And that will be of type generic dot jump strength. Is still not going to be happy. It's going to want an amount. Let's give it an amount. I'll just add 0.5, but it doesn't know to add that at the moment, so we better say operation, and we're going to add value. So we're going to add 0.15. I think I might have said 0.5 last time. And I want them to have it on their head as well. So let's do slot head. It's only going to work if it's on their head. Let's do done. Let's give ourselves one of them. And let's make a 2 high wall. Can I jump over this? No, I can't. If I put the hat on, yes, I can. Okay. That'll make it easier for them to get away. But we're also going to be naughty. We're going to make it so if they take any damage, they're going to drop the hat. So, not all safe. But first, let's give them some points if they're wearing the hat. That's the whole idea, really. Let's give some points. So we'll call this controller for points. And I don't want to give them a point every tick, so I'm going to use a timer. So let's do scoreboard, players, add. Let's get a fake player, just call them hat. And we'll add 1 to their timer. And then we'll execute if score hat timer matches 20, run scoreboard players reset hat timer. So we're going to reset their timer every 20 ticks, every 1 second. And this one's going to be conditional. So if this does run every second, we will execute as any player if items entity that player armor head is a leather helmet and it has the custom data which contains, not equals, which contains tag hat, then we will run scoreboard players add to that player to their points 1 point. Done. Let's turn that on. Let's look at the points. Scoreboard objectives, set display to the sidebar, points. Okay, points aren't going up because I'm not wearing a hat. Let's put the hat on. Points are going up 1 point every second. Cool. Let's take the hat off. Okay, now I want something. If I get hurt in any way, shape or form, I'm going to drop the hat. That's going to make it pretty tricky for people. I'm just going to use I think I'll use a cactus. I can just walk into that then. That'll be nice and easy to do. So let's put a cactus down here. There we go. And let's clear up our inventory a bit. So let's make a controller so they drop the hat if they're damaged. Controller, drop hat. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is summon a temporary hat. Execute at, we say all players whose scores, what have I done there? There we go, whose scores equals damage taken equals 1 or higher, so they've lost at least half a heart, at themselves, if items, entity, that player, armor, head is our leather helmet, which has custom data which contains tag hat, then we will run summon an item. Let's say a bit above the head, 1.7 blocks above the head, and a block in front of them. Why not? And let's give it some glowing so everyone can see it. Let's make it invulnerable, although I think I'll probably make the hat invulnerable anyway. Let's give it a pickup delay of 32,767, so no one can pick it up until I finish doing stuff with it. Let's set its item, so that will need an ID, and that's going to be a leather helmet. Then we'll come out of item and we'll give it some motion. Let's say nothing on the X, 0.4 on the Y, so it's going to pop up in the air. And I better give it a tag as well so we can target it easier. Tags, and we'll just call it temp hat. Okay, so we got damaged and a temporary hat item has appeared above our head. Now I'm going to copy the information from the tag hat that player is wearing. We'll make this conditional. Execute as and all players scores equals, make sure we get the bracket right, there we go, damage taken equals 1 or higher, at themselves, run data, modify entity, any entity whose type equals an item, whose tag equals temp hat, whose sort equals nearest, and we limit it to 1. And we are going to copy item data set from entity, the player, from their inventory, dot, and we'll copy it from slot 103B, which is their head. Okay, so we'll copy all the information from the tag hat onto the temporary item we have made. So now it's another tag hat. And now we'll say, well, it's okay to pick that up now. Conditional again. Data merge into an entity. Any entity whose type equals item, whose tag equals temp hat, whose limit equals 1. And we're going to merge in a pick up delay of 0, so anyone can pick the item up. Now, currently, we have one on our head and one just bouncing off away from our head. So let's remove the one that's on our head. Conditional again. Item replace entity. All players. That doesn't say all players, does it? That's all players. Whose scores equals damage taken equals 1 or higher. Armor head replace with air. So now there's just one tag hat currently on the floor, or bouncing in the air at the moment. Now we're going to set the player who just got damaged into spectator. Conditional again. Actually, first we'll give them a spectator score. So we'll do scoreboard players set for all players whose scores equals damage taken equals 1 or higher, and we're going to set their spectate score to, I'm going to do 100, so that's going to be 5 seconds. For actually playing a game, I think you'd probably want to do something like 30 seconds. 100 doesn't really give people time to get away. I'm just going to do a 5 seconds. It's not 100 seconds, it's 100 ticks. 5 seconds. And then we want to put them into spectator. Conditional again. Game mode. Spectator for all players whose scores equals spectate equals 100. I'll just say 100 or higher. That should be alright. Done. And I want to reset damage taken. So scoreboard players reset. I went very slow then. Reset whose scores equals damage taken equals 1 or higher. Reset their damage taken. Done. Okay, so turn this on. What should happen? Let's put my hat on. So what should happen is my hat should come off. It should leave one on the floor, and I should be set into permanent spectator. Let's do F5. Let's go into survival. Okay, absolutely nothing happened at all. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it? Let's have a look and see if we can see why. So the first thing we'll check is here. And I think, there we go, found it already. Execute at. So execute as anyone who takes damage. I bet that's the problem for everything. Because these are all conditional, so if this one didn't work, this one wouldn't, that one wouldn't, that one, blah, 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 all the way down the list. Let's try again. Fingers crossed that was our only mistake. So let's go back into survival. Aha. Okay, the hat's bounced up in the air. It's invulnerable, so the cactus can't kill it. And we're in permanent spectator. Okay, let's switch ourselves back. Ow. Stop that. And I think we've picked up the hat. Yes, we have. Okay. Let's get back into creative. So now we drop the hat if we take damage, and we're getting points when we're wearing the hat. But we're stuck permanently in spectator. So let's add a timer so we can get back out of that. Let's do controller spectate. And we will... And we don't want the player moving if they're in spectator, otherwise they could just chase the player who picked up the hat. That would be really silly. That would give them an advantage. So we're going to lock them in place as well. So let's do execute at all players whose scores equals spectate equals 100 or higher. It's only going to be 100, but why not? We will run summon an area effect cloud at their location. We'll give it tags. I'm just going to call it lock. And I'm going to give it a duration. And so when the duration runs out, it will clean itself up, as it'll he'll die. And we'll say 100. So that's the same amount of ticks as we put here. Keep those two numbers the same. Whatever you want to put them to, keep them the same. Done. And then we will remove 1 point, or one. Yeah, we'll remove 1 from their spectate score. So let's do scoreboard players. Remove from all players. Don't be a big A. From all players whose scores equals spectate equals. I suppose just 1. Maybe 1 to 100. Actually, just say 1 or higher. And remove 1 point from their spectate score. So that's going to be ticking down. And I also want to lock them to that area effect cloud. So let's do teleport all players whose game mode equals spectator, whose scores equals spectate equals 1 or higher. And we're going to actually, I'm going to add something here. I'm also going to say tag equals not dev. So if I make a mistake with this teleport and I get stuck in an endless loop, I can just give myself that dev tag, and this command won't target me anymore. Okay, and we'll teleport them to the nearest type equals area effect cloud, tag equals lock. Done. So now we can't move, and we're counting down their spectate score. So when they get to 0, so game mode, I'm going to put myself back into creative. You would probably want to put survival or adventure here. For all players whose scores equals spectate equals 0. So now I'm going to go back to creative, and then we'll just reset. We'll reset that as well. It's already 0, but let's reset it. Scoreboard players, reset all players whose scores equals spectate equals 0. We don't really need to do that, but I'm going to. Now that's going to change it from 0 back to null. They'll have no score. Okay, let's turn that on. So now I'm going to put that on my head. Let's do survival mode. Let's do F5. So it should pop off. I'm going to go into spectator for 5 seconds, and then I should come back to normal. And I can't move. Yep, can't move. So the other player's running away. And I'm back. Okay, cool. Let's do creative again. F5, F5. Right, so we're getting points. We get damage, we drop the hat. If we drop the hat, we go into spectator for 5 seconds. That's going to give the person who punched us time to get away. Or if we just fell down a gap and hurt ourselves, it's a punishment and gives the others a chance to catch up with us. And they can see the glowing hat. Right, next. I don't want players to be able to hold the hat in their inventory. I don't want them stuffing it in there and going, no, I haven't got it. I want them to have it on their head at all times. And we'll make it sort of bright aqua or something. So if someone's wearing it, you know they've got it. So let's do another controller. And this, well, we want them to wear the hat, so I'm going to call it wear hat. So I think what I want to do is I want to check if they've got it in their inventory. So we're going to check if they've got it in here, in any of these 27, and they're not wearing it on their head. And then we'll do a check if they're wearing it, if they've got it in their hotbar, and they're not wearing it on their head. So if either of those are true, we'll give them a tag. Let's do that first. So let's execute at, in fact we'll need as any player. If items entity, that entity, inventory.star, anywhere in their inventory is a leather helmet which has custom data which contains tag hat unless items entity, that entity, armor head is a leather. Hey, why do you take that away then? Leather helmet, which has custom data which contains tag hat. So if they've got it in their inventory and they're not wearing one on their head, we will run tag that player add wear hat. Done. And I'm going to control middle mouse that, paste it down again, change it into chain always active, and I'm just going to go back to where we typed in inventory. There we go. And I'm going to change that to hotbar. So if we have the hat on our hotbar or in our inventory, we will get the tag wear hat. Now let's do something to people that have that tag. I think the first thing we'll do is just clear all the hats from their inventory, from them completely. So let's just clear all players whose tag equals wear hat. And we'll clear any leather helmets whose custom data contains tag hat. So now they've lost all their hats. Now we're going to have to give them one back, and we'll pop it straight on their head. So we'll do an item replace an entity, all players whose tag equals wear hat, their armor head with leather helmet. Now I'm just going to press done. We want to give it some extra information because we want to give them the tag hat back. But I think the easiest way to do that is just to go over to our give command, and we'll go all the way back here. Here we go, leather helmet, and we'll just go after the T, and we're going to copy everything in the square brackets. Copy. That just saves us typing it all out again. And then we'll just paste that on the end there. Boink. So now we've got the tag hat back on our head, and we better remove that tag. So let's do tag all players whose tag equals wear hat, remove wear hat. Done. Okay. Bang. Oh, that was good. Went straight on my head. Now, if I take that out, comes out. If I take it out again, why is it just staying there this time? Now, this caught me out for quite a while. Because look, if I put it in, sometimes it goes back, sometimes it doesn't. It's every other time. It's very strange. It's a thing about creative. I don't know what it is. It doesn't store the data properly or something when you're in creative. It doesn't care about your items. If I actually am in survival or adventure, then I can't take it out. There we go. Yeah, I can put it on my hotbar. No. So if you get that problem and you're thinking, I cannot work this out, I'm literally tearing my hair out, and I was just like, I can't understand why this is happening. It's because you're in creative. There we go. That works. So if I come along and the other players drop their hat and I can run up, I pick it up and I put it on straight away. Perfect. Let's do our last little test because we're pretty much finished. So we'll go into survival. We'll go F5. We'll run up here. We will hit that. Ow! Oh no, the other player's stolen the hat. They're running away. And I come back. Cool. Can I pick the hat up again? I should be able to. Because no one's here, no one's stolen it. I can go and get it. Quick, and now I'll keep running away. And I've got it back on my head. Perfect. We have hat tag. Feels a little bit janky maybe. That seems okay. Probably better with a data pack. There we go. So you've got a hat. It's going to give you a little jump boost so you can get away from people easier. But if you take any damage from anything, you're going to drop the hat. And with my version, you're going to be put into spectator for 5 seconds. But as I said, I think you want to put them into spectator for something like 30 seconds. So if you're running away from people, you've got to be pretty careful. That should encourage people to drop it more often. So now people can hit you with an arrow. You can get hit by a skeleton. You understand what taking damage means. Anyway, I'm starting to waffle, aren't I? We've done the job. Job is done. I will see you soon. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.